guys, welcome to the Gun Shop with me, John, and today we're going to be looking at this, the Webley 951-950 series game gun. It's nice, it's Turkish built, it's £650. That's not a lot of money for an over and under shotgun that looks quite good. Let's have a little look over it, shall we? So, at the back we have this wonderful little heel plate. It's quite nice actually, it's got a good bit of recoil reduction with a nice little hard kicker at the top. It's perfect. Nice. Actually I would have preferred to see this on the Sporter as well, and it's perfectly good for both of them. You have the stock. The stock is Turkish walnut. Nice, very nice. You get varying grades of it. Those of you who've watched the Sporter video will realise you can get some amazing grades. But this is about average for them, you know, grade 1+, just a bit nicer than your average. The stock dimensions, 1.5, 2.25, quite a lot of drop actually, quite parallel as it goes. It works, a little bit of cast but not too much. And for a cheap gun actually it's really nice to see they've got quite a lot of stock taper, so the cast they put on actually works quite well. Whilst we're on the subject of the stock, they don't finish them perfectly well, and you can still, if you pay attention, put it in the right light, you can see the grain being not the grain, the sandpaper coming across. You can see some machining marks around here, but that's something you can fix yourself. Checkering is laser cut, very nicely done as well, but then there's no reason a laser shouldn't cut perfectly, really. And the grip, a little bit more swept back perhaps than the Sporter in the feel. It's it's quite long actually, it's quite long, although you could probably go up and strangle it. It is a very well made grip for larger hands, so perhaps that's worth contemplating, is that if you want to shoot this well, it is designed for bigger hands, or you're going to have to start sort of modifying your hold perhaps. Good for those who have, not great for those who don't. Gold trigger is non-adjustable. You have an automatic safety with selector, and one of my little pet peeves with this gun is that the selector isn't quite as positive on selection as I would have liked, but that's quite a pathetic thing to like, I suppose. Top lever, standard top lever with the autosave. They could be a bit stiff to start with, but they do break in very quickly. The headwork on this model is not too bad, and actually what I found between these guns is there is a lack of consistency. Some are finished very well, some aren't finished amazingly, and you end up with some perfectly well done around the wood to metal fit, some perfectly well done around the metal to metal fit, the sort of the trifecta between the barrel of the forend and this action there can be perfect on some, it can be less so. They're all gas tight, they're all good, but in terms of aesthetic finish, they do vary quite a bit. But again, that's what you're paying for when you pay for a £650 gun. I would worry if they're all identical where that £650 price point had come in. On this you can see they've invested in the mechanics and the actual engineering between the barrel and action. The stock is good and the actual specification is good. Perhaps their quality control wasn't so good. That does go on to reliability a little bit, and I've had a few of these, we've sold a lot. A couple of these haven't been so good out of the box, and we've ended up with a couple of issues on the first time shooting, which never makes people happy, certainly worth mentioning. However, once that's done, the long-term reliability is absolutely fantastic. Onto the action. You have a metal action with a wonderful flat coat finish on it. I'm not sure how that will stand up over time, and in fact on some of them you can see around the edges of some of the customers have used them quite a bit. They started to polish off, but it won't rust obviously, so it's not that bad. At the engraving you have identical game scene and scroll work on either side, which is very pleasant to look at. However, it's just etched on. It would have been nicer to see that deeper. Webley and Scott 951 and Webley and Scott on the side there. Schnabel checkered forend, blacked barrels, parallel rib with a nice little brass bead sight and some multi-chokes. Handling wise, again, cheaper guns will have heavier barrels. Cheap engineering is heavy engineering, as they say. So perhaps be careful. I think the 28-inch actually handles very well, and in a game gun I would really not want to go for the 30. They've got enough front end weight as it is. If you're going for the 30, you're going to have to end up putting probably £1/2 of lead in the back to make it handle a bit more appropriately. In terms of aesthetic specification, you can see they've invested a lot of money into this in terms of time and effort. It's got a lot of thought behind it, and they've copied some of the bigger names out there to come up with a design and a spec that is very, very popular. When you mount this gun, it doesn't feel nasty, it feels very good. The stock dimensions, the forward dimensions, and everything in hand is very, very nice. Perhaps they could have focused a little bit more on the shootability aspect, but that's not a bad thing. You know, again, if this was a £2,000 gun or a £1,000 gun, which they do, the Webley 1000 series, very, very nice, it would be a £1,000 gun. It's a £650 gun, and perhaps I am being overcritical. In terms of value for money, let's focus on the positives. A good stock, good dimensions, a good solid action, great trigger pulls, it shoots well, they pattern quite well. For cheap barrels, cheap chokes, they pattern very well. It comes with 5 chokes, that's nice. Comes with a bead, that's also very nice. It's a screw-in one, so you can change that quite easily. The pad is a good pad. It's got a bit of reproduction, got that hard plate on the top, and it is a very well thought out gun. Would I like to see Webley and Scott producing guns for 1,500 quid or £2,000? I would love to. You know, they've put enough thought into this that I would like to see another £1,000 production cost on top and see what they could do. That would make me happy, but unfortunately probably wouldn't make their market happy, because the £1,500 mark is taken up by Marukus, Berettas and Brownings. Would be mad to try and enter that one, I suppose. But for a £650 entry level gun, it would do. Very, very nice. Get behind one, try it. If you're in the market for something at that sort of price point, I don't think you go too far wrong. I say, just be wary that you are spending £650 and, you know, it's not a £2,000 gun. Anyway, fantastic. Thank you. We'll see you next time.